Hello, readers and writers, and welcome to 10 out of 10 or not tropes with me, the creative Gene. And this is going to be episode 4, and I will be doing romance tropes again because it was popular from last time. First romance trope for episode 4 is falling for the wrong person. I actually like this trope. I actually like this trope a lot. Like I'm supposed to be with the nice guy, but you know, the quote unquote bad boy over here is actually nicer than the nice guy. And then the nice guy ends up being the bad guy. There's so many ways that a writer could interpret who is like the wrong person. 8 out of 10. I really enjoy this trope. Definitely would watch. Number 2 is best friend's ex. No, absolutely not. That is off boundaries. There are so many fish in the sea. Why must you go after somebody that you see that used to be with your bestie? You know what I mean? No. 0 out of 10. I don't like it. Go somewhere else. Okay, next one is marriage pact. I think marriage pact is okay. You know, it could be better. I do like the idea of, you know, if we're not married at 40, we'll get married to each other because we've been best friends forever. I don't see it a lot in media, to be honest. I feel like a lot of people enjoy the new love kind of thing, and, you know, you're getting married for love. But like the marriage pact thing is like, oh, you're the last resort, which is why I don't really love it. But if the two people, you know, fall in love and watch them fall in love with each other, I feel like that's really sweet. 7 out of 10. Next romance trope is wallflower. Now hold up. That sound is for my 9 out of 10. The wallflower is not the pursuer, but being pursued by somebody who's more outgoing, more popular. I enjoy watching the popular people find the wallflower and pursuing them, and then they, you know, get together. You are seen by this person. 9 out of 10. I have got to change that sound. That is crazy. Next one is trapped in an elevator. That's really specific.
I don't know.
I don't want to be trapped in an elevator. That sounds scary. That doesn't sound romantic at all. I don't like it. 1 out of 10. I'm not really sure why this is a romance trope to begin with. I don't see romance in being trapped somewhere, especially if the elevator is like in the sky. No! Alright, next one. Friends to lovers. Favorite trope. 10 out of 10. You meet somebody new and you want to ask them out and you want to date them, and that's all good and well. But I think when you start out as friends with no romantic intention and then you kind of grow with each other in feelings, I think it's great. I really love watching that trope. I'm trying to think of a piece of media where I would see this off the top of my head. Percy Jackson is the first thing that comes to my head because that's kind of popular right now. You just start as friends, though. I mean, Percy just kind of had a crush on Annabeth, whether he admitted it or not at the beginning. Does that count as just friends? Next trope is I hate everyone but you. Well, I understand a lot of the people who read romance tropes really enjoy, like, you know, you only like me, you don't like anybody else. I think it's to negate, like, the cheater trope, because this person is not interested in anybody else but you, which I like, and that's why it's a 7 out of 10. However, how they hate other people also shows their character. If you're mean to everybody else but me, I don't really enjoy being with somebody who's mean to others either. That's a 7 out of 10. That's why. That 3 extra points, that's where those go. That's what happens. Next one here. Dark secret. This could just be like an enemies to lovers subtrope, right? So, like, everything is hunky-dory and we've been dating for however long, but I have a secret. Miraculous. No. I feel like this is the kind of trope that will work best if the relationship's already started. You know, whether it's the audience kind of watches this dark secret kind of unfold for a little bit, or it's a assassin trying to find a new life. The dark secret of, you know, I used to take people out for a living. That's bad. That's dark. That's a dark secret. I don't think it really produces romance too much, unless if the two people get mixed up into this dark secret and they get closer because of it. It's more 5 out of 10. Next romance trope is mind versus heart. Oh, the tragedy of having logic versus having feelings. If only they coexisted.
Nice.
I rate this 6 out of 10. The heart wants what it wants, but logically I know I shouldn't be with this person. The heart and the brain, they can't not work without each other. So maybe it's a like a rich person versus a commoner or something like that. Daddy, I love him. No, you don't. That's your heart talking. Use your mind. Go do some calculus or something. Leave that boy alone. Next trope is will they or won't they? Will they or won't they? I'm trying to think of what this means. Maybe like a miscommunication trope. I don't know. This just seems kind of like waiting for somebody to make the first move. At that point, the main character should just say something. It's like waiting, like, oh, maybe they will, maybe they won't. Because the same turmoil is going on in that person they're waiting for. And it ends up being assumed that they don't like each other because they don't communicate. Miscommunication trope can get out of here right now. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Just speak or won't. Next trope is amnesia. You know, it'd be a funny sound to put to this one. Because also this amnesia trope is really best put into an enemies to lovers situation. I see this trope a lot where it's the hero that loses their memory. They go to the villain because the villain is very familiar. It's not familiar in a good way, honey, but you know. And then they have a conversation where the villain just straight up lies to the hero, being like, oh yeah, you know, we know each other, and because I'm in love with you, we're actually dating. You know, we're engaged. Actually, we're married. When you think of enemies to lovers, you think of like the fantasy. Enemies to lovers, we are fighting with swords and really just hate each other and we're on different sides of the war. But enemies to lovers can also be set in a calmer situation. Like, I don't like you and I hate you. And we both work at Walmart. I don't know. Rated 9 out of 10. Next one. Don't do it. Oh my god. Absolutely no. Because you know what? What do you mean accidental? What do you mean by that exactly? Because y'all know what you were getting into. We all know it. Okay. 0 out of 10. I don't like this at all. It's not a favorite of mine. Moving on here. She was a skater boy. She said, see you later, boy. Rock star. Kind of similar to like celebrity trope, but specifically rock star. Because I guess celebrity could just be, it could be a musician or it could be an actor or. You know, celebrity is a pretty wide range. Rock star, specifically musician. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It's just a title, like CEO in your name, or you got sold to One Direction. Oh my gosh, you're a rock star? I just feel like it's a piece to a puzzle. It's a title. It's just a type of job they have. Next one here. Romantic rain. It's not just romance, but it's also raining.
Nice.
I'm a sucker for the romantic rain, you know. I think having the romantic confession in the rain is pretty fun. And I actually enjoy it when people make fun of it a little bit. The running out into the rain. They're leaving and I gotta catch them. Or just like the confession, it's pouring down rain. You know, where I'm at, it's always pouring down rain. So, you know, 10 out of 10. It's a little cliche, but you have my full attention during the scene. All right, next romance trope. Jilted bride. What does that mean? So if I'm understanding this correctly, this is the groom abandoning the bride. Is left at the altar, or the bride discovers something. It's like, oh no, that's not good. I can't marry you. I feel like it's a good trope to kickstart a story. It gives you the backstory of the character right away, and it lets you follow the bride and trying to figure out what to do next. Plan the wedding and you're rooting for them, and then in the middle, you get cut off. You're done. Kaput. Kaput. You're done. Kaput. Never mind. I'm not going to try to pronounce that anymore. 8 out of 10. Next up, we have Me Getting Dizzy. Star-crossed lovers. It's Katniss and Peeta. Honestly, that's the only time I've ever heard that trope, is Katniss and Peeta. Two people whose affection for each other is destined to end in tragedy. Oh. That's not what I thought it was at all. That's depressing. Okay, I've learned something new. Star-crossed lovers. I wonder why it's called that. So they're destined to fail. They're destined to be separated. Woof. That's a sad. That is a sad trope. So it's just the crying trope, right? Star-crossed lovers. Ugh. It's so angst and it has so much pain involved. But I think it's really good. It breaks the mold of every romance trope needs to end in a good way. Sometimes love is just temporary. Oh my gosh, that's depressing. Yeah, one of them characters is probably gonna go to heaven. I'm sorry. It's not good. Next one. Bet/dare. So the trope starts off, the romance starts off by one person being like, I bet you couldn't get her number. I dare you to go get his number. In the very beginning, one person gets dared to ask out another person like as a prank. But then once it starts getting good, that person that they had been dared to date realizes how the relationship started and go, oh, so you were dared to just be with me. You didn't actually pursue me because you liked me. That guy's like, no, that's not the truth. Like I do like you, and you know, I like you now. So that can be very fun. It can be fun to watch. I enjoy this. I enjoy this trip a lot. Let's go to the next one. Love at First Sight. Oh man. No, the two love interests bump into each other and the girl accidentally drops or spills whatever she was carrying. And then it's like slow motion with like the romance music behind. It's like everything falls and she's like, oh no. And she falls and he turns. He's like, oh, I am so sorry that I tripped you. You know, let me help you up. And there's a connection. It's love at first sight for both of them. In the K-pop Demon Hunters, it's making fun of that moment and he goes to maybe help her up and just brushes his shoulder off. It doesn't have to be two-sided. It could be one-sided. And so you just watch this person who just fell in love at first sight pursue the person they just fell in love with. I'm going to say 9 out of 10. You still want to fall in love with the person for who they are, not what they look like. But I do enjoy the little moment of like, oh, I'm in love with you now. Hold up. You don't know me. Next one. Okay. Slow burn. Some people love it. They think it's more natural, and I agree. It allows you to watch them fall in love. On the other side of it, some people are just gnawing at the bars of their enclosure because the slow burn is taking way too long. You know, I want you together right now. But the good things in life come to those who wait. Next one is lovers in denial. In denial of what? You're already in love. I don't understand. So what, you guys are together, but you are like, maybe we're not together. Maybe it's just a trick. Maybe it's all a lie. I'm going to put my own interpretation on this for it to make sense, okay? Both characters love each other, but they're both in denial of their feelings. Most tropes, you see one person who is fully acceptant of their feelings, and the second person is like, no chance, no way, I won't say it. No, no. But in this circumstance, they're both in denial. I'm gonna say K-pop Demon Hunters again just because I can.
Nice.
It's nice. The sound bit already said it. I'm gonna say 7 out of 10. Next trope is undercover love. So I guess the undercover part is just kind of the theme. They're both spies, or one of them is a spy, and also in love. I kind of think that's self-explanatory. Do I enjoy watching it? Yes. Yes, I do. I'll give that an 8 out of 10. The next trope is love triangle. Not entirely a fan. It has good potential to make the third person who is not picked sad. So, you know, if the sole thing is the one person trying to choose between two people, it can be a little overdone. Twilight story time. When I first read about the werewolf thing being, I think it's imprinting, if the werewolf knows automatically who they're supposed to be with, and Jacob didn't get that with Bella, then by process of elimination, it would be Bella and Edward, right? I wasn't on Team Edward or Team Jacob. I was just on Team Logic. Bella and Jacob didn't have that, you know, glazed over connection that he later has with their kid, which is really weird. So I'm like, obviously, you know, it's going to be Edward. It can be okay. And sometimes when it's done well, you know, it's okay to watch. But when it's not done well, I'm like, Next trope here. Everyone sees it, but you. You stupid, stupid man. Wow. You blind? I think it's a trope that you have at the very end where someone's like, I don't understand why they're acting like this. I'm just trying to, you know, help them. And the third character is like, you really don't realize how that person feels about you. I'm gonna say Katniss Everdeen. She doesn't realize that Pete actually does care for her until it's too late, which is rough. 9 out of 10. The last one, bully turns nice guy. I don't know about that one. Entirely depends on what they did as a bully. Because I like a good redemption arc, but also, like, if you were throwing people off of bridges, for an extreme example, you know, I don't really care how nice of a guy you turn into, that you should not be getting a relationship with that person. They've got issues. And especially if that bully turned nice, that span is in a few months. You know, take it easy, girl. For me, I'm gonna give this a no. 1 out of 10. 3 out of 10 if it's like, it has to be redeemable actions. Okay. I'm going to end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching this recorded, go ahead in the comments. You can put your ratings for any of the tropes. You can comment what tropes you liked or didn't like. I would love to see them, love to read them. As always, have a good rest of your night, and I will see you next week.